Woo! Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. So I made this post a few days ago that I got some great feedback on, so I decided to do a video on it to explain a little bit more in depth what I was talking about. And it is not what happened to us. It is what we are holding on to. So what I mean by that is this: the events of the past, the things that have happened to us in our past, no matter where they are, wherever they fall on the spectrum, okay, in between fantastic to like the worst thing in the world, okay, whatever that may be, our history does not define who we are. Okay, let me repeat that one more time. And I really want you to get this. I want you to feel it. If you got to say it to yourself, please do so. Our history does not define us. It is not a definition of who we are. 49 years, 49 and 40 and a half, 40 and a half. I say 49, I'm not that old. 40 and a half years on the planet does not define who I am. Every little experience, every huge experience, every milestone, every step that I've made doesn't define me. What ends up happening is the things that we start to hold on to is what makes up who we are. Now, when we have these traumatic, chaotic events, we tend to hold on to them. We hold on to the memory. Not only in our mind, we may hold on to the way we felt in our body, whatever emotional response that we had with it, depending upon when it happened in our life. And then we're going to step into situations potentially with the same mindset that we would have stepped into in this past event. So we end up holding on to it as if that is what defines us, and really ultimately becomes who we are. So if we're not what happened to us, we end up being what we're holding on to. So my question for you is this: what are you holding on to? What nags at you? What if you took a step back and you were the observer of your life, and you could look at it from a viewpoint of an audience member, and you could look at it objectively, could you start to pinpoint repeat experiences with different people, repeat feelings in different scenarios? Okay? Because right there, those two things is the easiest way for us to pinpoint some of the things that we're holding on to. Use myself as an example. Okay, I've talked at length with my issues with body dysmorphia. Okay, me starting out in the fitness industry, me being in gyms my entire life, probably magnified this to the nth degree. But it was a little comment that was made to me when I was probably 10 years old. It was innocently made, but it had an impact on me that has been carried throughout my entire life, where that feeling has been validated in different situations, to the point that one of my first relationships that I had, my girlfriend at the time was making comparisons of my body versus other people's bodies, which there is no comparison. It's apples to oranges. We're all different. We're all made differently. I understand that theoretically. But at that point in time, because I was in this relationship and I was wanting to keep this relationship, I made concessions about myself, which thus means I went and tried to do these other things to be like these other people. So that little comment was then validated by these different scenarios and situations in which I picked and choose to be in, which is carried on up until present day. So holding on to that has not served me. Be that as it may, look at your own life, value that. That's just a small thing, okay? That's a very small thing. It really is at the end of the day. You know, again, we can't compare one person's thing to another. And there's many more I could give you as examples that relates to me, okay? But if you evaluate yourself objectively, if you come out of and you become the observer, which is what I do as a coach, to try to be the observer of the person that I'm sitting down with, to really be objective, to listen to what they're saying, to be objective, to see what is it that they're holding on to. Furthermore, what have they not processed yet? Because those things are crucial. I don't know how many times someone has sat across from me, whether it be on this vehicle, whether it be in the chair physically with me, that they'll say the saying, I thought I had processed that. Obviously, I have not. We think we get over these things, but yet we hold on to them. Why do we hold on to them? Well, they're familiar, number one. Okay? Just because they're not healthy sometimes, most of the time, doesn't mean they're not familiar. We're going to go with what is familiar, because then we can predict and protect ourselves because we are used to it. This is why people oftentimes will pick chaotic relationships, because that's what they were raised in. That's what they know. They may not be aware of it. They may think, God, why do I keep running into the same people over and over and over, just in different experiences? They may not be able to make the connection between the two, but in my humble opinion, that's what happens. So asking yourself the question, what have I not processed? And what am I holding on to? We've all had childhoods, people. We've all had events that shape us as the way we are. There's a reason why we are where we are. And if you're at the end of the day and you're exhausted, you're mentally exhausted, you're physically exhausted, you feel like something's nagging at you. It's like, I used to do this and that made me happy, but all of a sudden now it doesn't make me happy anymore. And I don't really know what makes me happy. I'm in all these different relationships that they don't make me happy. Ask yourself the very important question. What am I holding on to? What have I not processed? And be real with yourself. As a coach, that's what I create the environment that allows you to be real with yourself, because the answer does not come from my mouth. It comes from yours. That's the beauty, because when it comes from you, that means it can be dissolved. And that means you don't have to carry it with you as you move throughout the rest of your life, which could be the best part of your life. We oftentimes think that our best years are behind us. I disagree. Our best years can be in front of us, as long as we're willing to face the things of the past, to really live in the present, so that the future takes care of itself. If this is something you'd like to have a conversation about, I'm open. Discovery calls, 30-minute call. Ask you what the first question is going to be. What is your biggest challenge currently right now? And then we will take that phone call from there. Maybe dig deep into what you're holding on to. Maybe dig deep into what you have not processed. Because at the end of the day, guys, the importance for this is this. Whether you're trying to get in the best shape of your life, whether you're trying to make X amount of money, whether you're trying to be the best father, mother, whatever the case may be, if you got stuff from the past that's holding you down like an albatross, you're only going to be as good as you can be here in a limited basis, as long as there are things that are limiting you. At the end of the day, you have no limits other than what you're holding on to. Let's release it. Hope everybody has a great day. Buff Gandhi, I'm out.